I think first of all, in reviewing the last game, almost every player that plays on our team has shown at some point in time that they can play really good football. And I think that we're certainly capable of that. But I think to get more consistency as a team, we have to do a better job of not making mental errors, playing better fundamental technique, and then being able to take that to the game by having very good preparation by the way we practice and the way we mentally prepare for the game. I was just talking to Zach Johnson out there, and he said there's three parts to this: the mental part, the physical part, the technical part. And that's so right in his game, our game, whatever. So we need to improve the way we prepare to gain more consistency in performance when we play the game. And that's a lot to do with us as coaches. We're responsible for that. Players have to be responsible for that. Everybody's got to be responsible for their part. It's not only just getting the assignments, it's having the repetition to do it correctly and then be able to carry it to the game so that you can execute it properly. There was a lot of good things that we did in the game, but we also shot ourselves in the foot quite a bit with mental mistakes and technique errors. So those are the things that are correctable, that need to get corrected so that we can play with more consistency in the games. From an injury standpoint, I think everybody is going to be able to practice today except Nick Perry. And we'll get a call on what they want to do with him long term here very shortly. So I don't know exactly. That decision is getting made today. Ole Miss has a really, really good team. They've got a lot of starters coming back. I think 19 guys, from offense and defense, and 2 specialists that had been starters before that actually got redshirted last year are now starters who, both are sort of tops in the league in what they do. They won 5 games in a row now, last 2 games of last year and first 3 games of this year, and they're a very, very good football team. Bo Wallace does a really good job of operating their hurry-up, speed, effective. They got really good skill players, 2 or 3 receivers that are explosive guys, a really good tight end as a receiver and a blocker. Jeff Scott is an outstanding running back as well as a returner. And they got about everybody back on defense and some new additions that are, certainly helping their defense as well. So this is a very good SEC team, and we're certainly going to have to play our best football to have any kind of success against them. All right. Well, I think team chemistry comes from everybody buying into the principles and values of the organization, whether it's respecting, trusting those principles and values, respecting and trusting each other, having a positive attitude toward the goal that you have. And that vision that you have has to be important to you because that's where all your motivation comes from. Everybody's got to go be responsible for doing their job, and everybody's got to work their tail off and persevere to be able to sustain it over the course of the season. So, our team has made improvement in that area. Are we where we need to be? I'd like to think that we'll continue to improve, and that, these lessons that we learn in each one of these games, whether we play well at times and play poorly at times, are all sort of lessons that sort of get people closer to understanding how important it is to buy into the process of what they need to do to play with consistency. And, we need to continue to work on that. Need to play better in the secondary. We still gave up 4 big play passes in the game. They weren't 70-yarders, but they were 20 and 25-yarders, and most of them were on some kind of mental error by somebody. Not always in the secondary, but somebody. And same thing exists in the secondary. Most of it is technique and doing your assignment. understanding how to do your job. Obviously, Dion Blue is, a guy that's played the most football around here and is probably our best corner, so not having him out there is a guy that has experience. He has some positive leadership. He does affect the other players, so it would be great to get him back. I hope we can get him back. He's going to practice today, and that would be very helpful. All the other guys did some good things and some bad things, and we're just going to have to continue to work, through this week's practice and see who else we end up, starting at the other corner. It's really the same issues I've been talking about. We make a few mental errors. Back doesn't pick up the corner cap. We have a big play on. Stops a drive, right in the red zone. Have to kick a field goal. Breakdown in protections and throw an interception. Just trying to throw the ball away. So when the running game, it's the same thing. Not necessarily the plays that we call, because as fans, everybody thinks that, call bad plays because they didn't work. But why didn't they work? I think that's the most important thing. And we had a few missed assignments, but more than that, we probably had a lack of technique. If we're running a play and the guard's supposed to help the center block, shade nose or a 2-eye or whatever, and he doesn't do it, and the guy runs in the backfield and hits us in the backfield, that's just a lack of technique. And then you see the same play run again, and you make 9 yards on the play when it was done correctly. So consistency in doing what you're supposed to do, and it's little things that come from paying attention to detail that are important, I think, in getting our offense going the way we're capable of. Well, I don't know, we played pretty good in this game last year. We gave them 13 points, and, we can say we're more prepared, but we gave up 42 points when we played against it the last time. So we worked a lot on it, and we're more prepared, but we haven't got the results that we'd like to get because we haven't been able to sustain. Like in the A&M game, we give 14 points up in the first 7 minutes. Then we win the game 42-7 over the next 3 quarters, and then give up 21 points in the last 8 minutes of the game. So that's the consistency and performance that I'm referring to. That's to me what needs to get better. The capability's obviously there. We just got to get it done on a more consistent basis. Coaches, players, me, everyone involved. We're all responsible for it. Well, they're different. They're different offense completely. So it's not really anything the same. They're a completely different offensive team. They really have their number one formation is 3 receivers and a tight end, a very good tight end who is a very good receiver. They have a really good running game. They run for 250 yards a game. And so, it's a completely different game than trying to defend Texas A&M. There's not even an ounce of similarity. I think he's visiting with the golf team. He just stopped by to say hello. We gave him a tour of the building. I'm working on his game. Not that my short game doesn't need it, but I don't have to worry about that until March.